How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news, straightforward and to the point with no BS added in. The Democrats are pushing sweeping gun control laws that are flying under national radar. Colorado Democrats are pushing a series of gun control bills that mirror policies in liberal states such as California, but have overwhelmingly flown under the radar in the media. This should be making national news, as it just doesn't impact Colorado, but the nation as a whole. Lawmakers are using these outrageous bills as blueprints, changing the state names and implementing them across the country at the state level because they don't have the votes to do it nationally. Last year it was Washington where they all passed, and the laws are disseminating gun stores without a single positive impact on crime. Today it's Colorado, and these same bills will show up in other states tomorrow if we don't come together as a whole to fight this. Colorado state Democrats are pushing a gun control blitz this year, including a bill that would ban so-called assault weapons, which is typically understood as a semi-automatic rifle like an AR-15, enact an 11% tax on gun and ammunition purchases, and increase standards for concealed handgun carry classes. Another bill would prohibit gun owners from carrying in sensitive places such as parks, banks, and college campuses. You notice there's no mention in any of these bills about stopping criminals from getting guns, and nothing about harsher penalties for those who use guns in crimes. All these proposed laws are geared toward law-abiding citizens. The bills are under consideration by lawmakers in the state's General Assembly, where the Democratic Party controls both chambers. The state governor, Jared Polis, who is also a Democrat, meaning the party has a Democratic trifecta. In the Centennial State, the state's House Judiciary Committee in March advanced a bill that would ban assault weapons, sending the bill to the full House, where it's anticipated to receive support from the Democratic majority. Out of all the legislation introduced this year, the so-called assault weapons ban bill is the most concerning, but they all have tragic consequences for law-abiding citizens. The assault weapons ban bill is incredibly deceptive. They want to ban not only every kind of every gun like ARs and AKs, but also 80 to 90% of semi-automatic firearms popular today, including handguns and shotguns. The language in the bill is broad and would ban not only the guns, but also firearm features such as a foregrip, adjustable stock, a pistol grip, and barrel shrouds. The bill sponsors claim these features increase lethality when in fact they don't. They're just merely cosmetic. A muzzle brake, which could be interpreted as a compensator, is another characteristic that lawmakers have decided that make a firearm more lethal. Muzzle brakes are one of the most popular features to tame recoil and are growing in popularity among female shooters, those who lack upper body strength. Colorado's move to ban guns such as AR-15s would leave women especially vulnerable to crime. According to numerous firearm instructors, it is abundantly clear that women prefer an AR-15 for defense of their home, family, and themselves, despite the anti-gun rhetoric pushed by the media and gun control organizations. The AR-15 allows women to have a larger firearm without having to physically absorb as much recoil as a smaller handheld firearm. An AR-15 makes it easier for those who have a physical disadvantage to have an upper hand against an attacker and creates a larger perimeter of protection. Simply put, the firearm levels the playing field, and that's why I've always called the AR-15 the great equalizer. Anti-gun lawmakers are undoubtedly out of touch with Americans' support for the Second Amendment, especially since the U.S. recently became a constitutional carry majority nation. 29 states currently have constitutional carry, while 50% of the country recognizes the Constitution. States like Colorado are going backwards. Colorado's homicide by firearm rate has surpassed the national rate for the first time in 40 years, while states who have passed constitutional carry are seeing a decrease. Just last month, Republican Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin vetoed 30 gun control bills, including one that would have made it a misdemeanor to import, sell, manufacture, purchase, or transfer a so-called assault firearm, and another that would have banned guns on college campuses and buildings owned by public universities and institutions of higher education. Democrats in that state hold control of the General Assembly, but do not have enough votes to override. the Republican governor's vetoes. In closing, most of the gun control bills proposed in Colorado will hurt the underprivileged the most, ensuring only the wealthy can protect themselves or express their constitutionally protected right. Firearms are not inexpensive, averaging a little more than $500 each. When you add an 11% tax on that and ammunition, it adds up real quick, especially for someone to maintain proficiency with their firearm. They need to practice, but they can't afford it. When most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, some will say the 11% tax is a sin tax. And self-defense is not a sin. Self-defense is a human right. Another pending bill, HB 24-1270, requires gun owners to get liability insurance. Not only does this increase the cost to gun owners, but it will most likely be difficult to find a company that will cover them, making a few companies that do a monopoly. As we've seen with banks, many merchants refuse to do business with gun stores and gun-related accessories and training, often dropping accounts without notice. Like I said earlier on in the video, none of these bills will stop any crimes from happening. It just makes it harder and harder for the law-abiding citizen to purchase a firearm and ammunition to protect themselves and their families and their properties from the criminals who don't follow the laws. And these bills are aimed at the law-abiding citizens, not the criminals. And it's true, since they can't get this done federally. They take the same laws that pass in other states like California. They change the state name and move it on to another state, like they're now doing in Colorado. And they'll just move it from state to state. And it's absolutely ridiculous, and it needs to stop. As always, I would really like to hear your thoughts about today's video in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, also if you just want to help the channel out and help it to continue to grow, please just take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. I really would appreciate it. And I invite you to come back and watch my next video.